Have you ever woken up in the morning, looked around, and thought to yourself, well, now what? You've worked hard for decades. You've earned your rest. The calendar isn't packed with appointments and deadlines anymore, and for the first time in a long time, the day is yours. Completely yours. But instead of feeling free, you feel a little stuck. Maybe even a little lost. If that sounds familiar, let me tell you something. You are not alone. Retirement is supposed to be this golden chapter of life, right? The reward at the end of a long, winding road. But no one really talks about how it can also feel like standing at the edge of a wide, open space, wondering which way to go. That shift, from busy days and full schedules to quiet mornings and wide-open afternoons, can feel both exciting and a little unsettling. And that brings us to a question I hear more than you might think. How do I find real happiness now that I'm retired? It's a powerful question, because happiness after retirement isn't just about filling the hours. It's about finding meaning, joy, connection, all the things that truly matter. And the truth is, the secret to happiness in this next chapter of life, it's not hidden in some big, dramatic change. It's actually something much simpler and much closer than you think. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to unpack what really brings happiness after retirement, and not just the surface level kind, but the kind that feels deep and lasting. We're going to talk about how to feel more alive, more connected, and more fulfilled, without trying to go back to the way things used to be. Because your best years aren't behind you. They're right here. And it starts with one simple truth. Let's begin by talking about something most people overlook, and that's routine. Now, I know, routine doesn't sound glamorous. But hear me out. When you were working, your days had a built-in rhythm. You got up at a certain time. You had places to be, things to do, people to talk to. There was a structure, a kind of framework that held your day together. And as much as we might have complained about it back then, structure gives us something important. It gives our days shape. Without it, time can start to blur together. One day melts into the next, and suddenly it feels like you're drifting instead of living. The beautiful thing about retirement is you get to build your own rhythm now, one that actually fits your life, your energy, and your desires. It doesn't have to be rigid, but having a gentle, meaningful routine, one that includes things you enjoy, not just things you should do, can give your day purpose again. Even something as simple as a morning ritual can change the tone of your whole day. Maybe it's making a fresh cup of coffee and sitting by the window for 10 minutes before you check your phone. Maybe it's stretching, listening to your favorite music, or journaling. What matters isn't what you do, it's that you do it. Regularly. Intentionally. Because when we start the day with care, the rest of the day often follows that energy. I know a woman, recently retired, who struggled for months. She told me, I just don't feel like me anymore. I'm not sure who I am without my job. And I asked her, well, who do you want to be now? That simple question stopped her. She'd never thought of it like that. She'd been focused on what she lost, not what she could now create. That's the next part of this. Understanding that retirement isn't the end of your identity. It's a beautiful opportunity to rediscover who you are. Think about it. For decades, so much of your life was probably tied to what you did. Your job, your role as a parent, your responsibilities. But now, you get to ask, what lights me up? What have I always wanted to try, but never had the time? This is your time to explore again. And no, you don't have to climb a mountain or learn to paint masterpieces, unless you want to. It could be something small but powerful. Taking up gardening, joining a book club, volunteering once a week, learning a new language just for fun, trying out that old guitar in the closet. There's no right or wrong answer. The key is to stay curious, to let your interests guide you. The happiest people in retirement are not the ones who are the busiest. They're the ones who are still growing. Not in a pushy, pressured way, but in a life still has more to offer me kind of way. And that spark, That sense of expansion, that's where real happiness begins. But sometimes, the biggest barrier to finding happiness after retirement isn't time or energy. It's loneliness. And this is something we need to talk about more, honestly and openly. Because a lot of people feel it, even if they don't say it out loud. The truth is, when your schedule changes and you're not seeing coworkers every day, or the kids are grown and busy with their own lives, it can feel like your world has gotten smaller. And isolation can sneak in quietly. At first, you might enjoy the quiet. But over time, too much solitude can start to feel like a weight on your chest. That's why connection, real, meaningful connection, is so essential to happiness. This doesn't mean you have to have a huge social circle or go to parties every weekend. It means making space for quality connections. That might be regular coffee dates with a friend, phone calls with someone you love, or even getting involved in your community, a class, a group, a local cause that matters to you. One man I spoke with started volunteering at a local animal shelter just twice a week. He told me it gave him something to look forward to, not just because of the dogs, but because of the people. "I'm part of something again," he said. "I feel useful. Like I belong." That sense of belonging, that's what we're all looking for, no matter our age. And if you're watching this and thinking, "I don't really have many people in my life anymore," I want to gently remind you that it's never too late to build new connections. Yes, it can feel awkward at first. Yes, it takes a little courage. But there are people out there who would love to know you, who need someone just like you in their circle. You still have so much to give: your kindness, your perspective, your stories, your humor. Don't underestimate the value of your presence in someone's life. And don't be afraid to reach out, to make the first move. Sometimes, happiness begins with a simple, "Hi, how are you?" Now that we've talked about the power of routine, the joy of rediscovery, and the importance of connection, let's move on to something just as powerful, something that often gets overlooked but might just be one of the most important parts of finding lasting happiness in this next chapter. A sense of purpose. Now, I know that word gets tossed around a lot, and sometimes it sounds a little grand, like you're supposed to discover some big, life-changing mission. But that's not what I'm talking about. Purpose doesn't have to mean solving world hunger or writing a best-selling novel, unless that's what excites you, of course. For most of us, purpose simply means feeling useful. Like your life still has meaning, that you still matter, and that what you do, even if it's small, makes a difference. When we stop working, especially after decades of pouring ourselves into our jobs, it's easy to feel like we've lost a piece of our identity. Suddenly, no one's asking us to do things anymore. There are no meetings, no coworkers needing advice, no one looking to us for leadership. And that quiet can start to feel like invisibility. But here's the truth I want you to hold on to. Your purpose didn't retire just because you did. You still have so much to offer. The wisdom you've gained, the skills you've honed, the patience you've earned, the stories you've lived. These things matter more now than ever. One retired teacher I met, a lovely woman in her early 70s, felt this shift deeply. "I miss feeling needed," she told me. "I miss having a reason to get up and go." So she started tutoring kids in her neighborhood a couple of afternoons each week, just 1 or 2 hours at a time. Not only did it brighten their lives, but hers as well. "It gave me that spark again," she said. "I realized I still have something to give." And you do too. Purpose can look like checking in on a neighbor who lives alone, or starting a garden and sharing your veggies with friends, or writing a letter to your grandchild every month just to remind them they're loved. It can be reading to kids at the local library or helping out at a church or food bank. These aren't small things. These are the building blocks of a meaningful life. And often, they're the things that bring the deepest happiness. Now, while we're on the subject of meaning, I want to talk about something else that plays a bigger role in happiness than most people realize: gratitude. And I'm not talking about pretending everything's perfect. Life after retirement, like any stage, can have its ups and downs. There may be health scares, financial worries, or changes you didn't ask for. That's real. And it's okay to feel those things. But what's also real, and what can shift everything, is finding joy in the small things. Noticing the warmth of the sun on your face when you sit outside in the morning. Laughing at an old memory. Hearing a favorite song come on the radio. The way your dog greets you like you're the most important person in the world. These are the moments that build a happy life, one day at a time. Gratitude is a habit. And like any habit, it gets easier the more you practice. One of the simplest things you can do, and I've seen this work wonders, is keeping a little notebook, or even just a slip of paper by your bedside. At the end of the day, jot down 3 things that made you smile. They don't have to be profound. Maybe the soup you made turned out just right. Maybe your roses started to bloom. Maybe your daughter called just to say hello. That's it. 3 moments of light. Do that every night for a week and see how it changes the way you wake up. There's something almost magical about training your brain to look for good, because the more you notice it, the more it grows. And this brings us to another essential part of happiness that people don't talk about nearly enough: acceptance. Life changes. Our bodies change. Our routines change. And sometimes our roles in the world change too. It's natural to feel a sense of loss. Maybe you're not able to travel the way you used to. Or maybe certain hobbies feel more difficult now. It's easy to focus on what you can't do. But what if we shifted the focus to what you can do, right now in this season? Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means honoring where you are without comparing it to where you used to be. It means making peace with the changes, and then asking, how can I still find joy right here? I know a man in his 80s who used to love long hikes in the mountains. His knees don't allow for that anymore, and that reality really hit him hard. But instead of giving up on nature altogether, he started taking short walks in the local park every morning. He brings a little camera with him now, and he photographs birds, squirrels, the changing leaves, things he says he used to rush past when he was younger. It's a different kind of adventure now, he told me. Slower, but no less beautiful. That mindset, embracing change instead of fighting it, opens the door to peace. And peace is a big part of happiness, especially in this stage of life. And you know what else adds peace to your life? Letting go. Letting go of guilt. Letting go of regrets. Letting go of what didn't happen the way you planned. So many of us carry around old wounds, old disappointments, things we wish we'd done differently. But here's something to remember. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. And holding on to guilt now only steals the joy you could be feeling today. Forgiveness of others, yes, but especially of yourself, is one of the most freeing, healing things you can give yourself. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are the result of your strength, your love, your endurance. And you deserve happiness just as much as anyone else. Now, I want to take a moment and remind you of something very simple, but very powerful. You are allowed to enjoy your life. That may sound obvious, but for a lot of people, especially those who spent years taking care of others, putting themselves last, and sacrificing their time for their families, it can feel unfamiliar, even a little selfish, to finally prioritize your own happiness. But this chapter is for you. You've earned it. And it's okay to find joy in small pleasures. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to say no to things that drain you and yes to things that lift your spirit. This is not about filling your calendar. It's about filling your heart. And sometimes, happiness isn't found in doing more. It's found in doing less, but with more presence. That brings me to something that's been a game changer for so many people I know: mindfulness. Now, don't worry. I'm not going to ask you to sit cross-legged and meditate for hours unless that's your thing. Mindfulness can be as simple as pausing, taking a breath before you react, savoring your food instead of rushing through it, really listening when someone's talking to you, being fully in the moment instead of letting your thoughts pull you into the past or future. It might sound small, but this shift, being where your feet are, can create a deep sense of calm and contentment. Because most of our stress comes from thinking about things that aren't happening right now. Mindfulness brings us back to what is, and reminds us that right now, in this very moment, there is often more peace than we realize. So, if you've been wondering why happiness in retirement sometimes feels harder than it should, or why you're still searching even though you should feel content, know that you're not doing anything wrong. You're just human. And like all of us, you're learning how to navigate a new chapter. But you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. And that, my friend, is a beautiful place to begin. Let's keep going, because there's one more powerful key to unlocking happiness in retirement. One that ties all these pieces together and helps you not only feel good, but stay that way. Connection. Real, meaningful connection. It's the kind of thing that might seem obvious, but it's also easy to overlook, especially as we get older. When the workplace no longer fills our calendar and kids have grown up and gone on to live their own lives, it can leave a surprising amount of silence. Some of that quiet can feel peaceful, but too much of it, it can start to feel lonely. And here's the thing, loneliness doesn't always look the way you think. You can be surrounded by people and still feel isolated. Or you can go about your day just fine, staying busy with errands and hobbies, but still feel like something's missing. That missing piece is often being seen. Having someone ask how you're really doing. Having a conversation that goes a little deeper than the weather. Laughing until your belly hurts. Feeling like you belong to something or someone. That's why connection is more than just company. It's nourishment for the soul. Just like we feed our bodies with good food, we feed our hearts through relationships, friendships, companionship, community, all of it. And before you start thinking, well, I don't have many people around me anymore, let me say this, it's never too late to make new connections. Truly. One of the most inspiring people I've ever met was an 82-year-old man who moved to a brand new city after retirement, didn't know a soul. Instead of hiding away, he joined a local walking group, started going to community center events, and slowly built a circle of people who became like family. It took a little effort, he said, but it made my life feel full again. You don't have to join a club or go to big social events if that's not your style. Even simple connections, waving to your neighbor every morning, chatting with the cashier at the store, calling a friend once a week, those things add up. You're creating little threads of joy that weave into the fabric of your daily life. And let's not forget the people you already know. Sometimes we wait for others to reach out, to invite us, to check in, but happiness often comes when we take the first step. Call your cousin. Invite an old friend for coffee. Reconnect with someone you haven't spoken to in years. The worst that happens, nothing changes. But the best, you revive something beautiful. Also, connection doesn't just mean with people. It can be with nature, with animals, with faith, or with your own inner self. Sitting outside and watching the birds. Taking care of a pet that greets you with excitement every single morning. Or praying, meditating, or simply taking a moment to feel grateful for the life you've lived and the moments still to come. That kind of connection creates calm. It centers you. And it reminds you that no matter your age, you are still part of something larger than yourself. I've seen people's entire outlook shift just by opening their hearts a little more. Sometimes the wall we build to protect ourselves also keeps happiness out. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to soften that wall. You're still here. Still breathing. Still capable of forming new bonds, of deepening old ones, of being loved, and of loving in return. When you combine all these pieces, purpose, gratitude, acceptance, presence, and connection, you start to see that happiness after retirement isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you gently create, a little every day, through small choices, through tiny shifts in how you see yourself and the world around you. And what's beautiful is that you don't have to get it perfect. You don't have to feel joyful every second of every day. You just have to keep showing up for your own life, You just have to be willing to say, yes, I deserve to be happy. Yes, I'm still growing. Yes, there is beauty here. You are not invisible. You are not past your prime. You are not done. This season, right here, right now, can be rich and full and vibrant in ways you may not have even imagined yet. So if you've been wondering where your happiness went, or if you'll ever find it again, let me tell you this, it's not lost. It's been waiting for you. Quietly, patiently, through the changes and the noise and the doubts. It's always been within reach. You just have to choose to see it, to welcome it, to make space for it again. Start small. Take one tiny step today. Whether it's writing down what you're grateful for, calling someone you miss, or simply allowing yourself to rest without guilt, that's a beginning. And beginnings are powerful. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you something. When was the last time you smiled for no reason? The kind of smile that creeps in slowly and lights you up from the inside out. If it's been a while, that's okay. But let this be your reminder. You're allowed to smile again, to laugh again, to feel good just because. And I'd love to hear from you. In the comments below, share something that brings you joy in this chapter of your life. It could be as simple as morning coffee on the porch, or watching your grandkids play, or the way your cat curls up beside you every night. When we share our joy, it multiplies. You never know who might read your comment and feel a little less alone because of it. If you found this video helpful or comforting in any way, go ahead and give it a like. It helps more people like you find it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more warm, practical, and uplifting content coming your way, all designed to help you live your best life at any age. Take a deep breath right now. In and out. That breath. That's your proof that you're still here. Still growing. Still able to make every day count. Here's to joy. Here's to peace. Here's to connection. And most of all, here's to living your best life, one beautiful day at a time. You've got this. And you're never, ever too old to be happy.